A double shooting claims the life of a local teenager. Good evening, this is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Well, Prince George's police are investigating a deadly shooting in Upper Marlboro. Officers were back at the scene canvassing the neighborhood of Parkside, Westphalia. The incident happened at about 8:40 last night in the parking lot of the community center in the 9600 block of Parkstone Drive. The victim has been identified as 17-year-old Michael Newayulu of Upper Marlboro. He was pronounced dead at the scene. A second person was also shot, but his injuries are said to be non-life-threatening. Anyone who may have information is asked to contact police. An update on the bombshell news that came out yesterday regarding the arrest of former College Park Mayor Patrick Woyan. Prince George's police searched his College Park home Tuesday, seizing cell phones, a storage device, a tablet, and a computer. On Thursday, he was charged with 56 counts of possession and distribution of child porn, and he could still face other charges as well. A bond hearing that was scheduled for this afternoon has been postponed until Monday. Meantime, College Park leaders held an emergency meeting last night to discuss the arrest and subsequent resignation of the 47-year-old mayor. They are expected to choose a date for a special election to fill the seat during next Tuesday's City Council meeting. Well, state and local governments across the U.S. are mandating goals to increase alternative energy for the foreseeable future. Prince George's is no different. It passed a climate action plan to help the county reach its carbon emissions goal of a 50% reduction by 2030. But some residents along Croom Road say they're upset about a new array of solar panels being constructed. They say little to no information was given out about the project and that poor stormwater management practices are making a mess of nearby streams and creeks.
Mud was rolling off the site.
Tom Maslin is talking about a new construction site for a solar array along Croom Road in Upper Marlboro. He says during a rainy Super Bowl Sunday, mud was pouring off the site and down into drains.
It was going into drains along Croom Road and then pouring into the creek. And then the next day, again, the creek and marshland around my farm was muddy again.
Lottie Layeni lives across the street from the site. He says developers held a meeting about their plans 2 years ago, but that residents never heard another word until work began on the site a few weeks ago.
When this popped up, and the moment it popped up, we were like, okay, time out, what's going on? And nobody has any answers.
Layeni says he's been trying to get answers from local leaders to no avail.
I know people have solars on their property. I have one myself, but it took us a while to get it approved. I have to go through the process. We didn't have no hearing. We didn't have anyone come out to talk to us from the company, nothing. And I feel this is highly disrespectful to the residents of Croom Road.
Patuxent Riverkeeper Fred Tutman got involved in the issue after local residents asked for his help.
I'm not an engineer, but I know that water likes to run downhill. I'm not a meteorologist, but I also know it occasionally rains. So somebody very thoughtlessly designed this without any real perspective on the natural conditions on the site.
Tutman says poor stormwater management can be catastrophic for an area because it literally drowns nearby waterways in sediment, ruining the water quality and making it less habitable for marine life. After complaints, the developers did install some runoff controls, but Tutman says the damage has already been done.
No one's going to go out and collect and vacuum up all that sediment and mud that washed off the other day. So the fact that they've gotten it under control late in the game doesn't mean that this was a project that was successfully resolved. The damage has been done.
And Tutman says residents plan to monitor the site in pending rains. Well, a vigil was held at a Temple Hills skating rink last night for a security guard who was gunned down last month. About 100 people turned out to remember 31-year-old Eugene Smith at DMV All Skate Social. Smith was off duty when he was shot and killed on February 23rd. He was at the rink to pick up his paycheck. He was remembered for his smile and the way he lifted people's spirits. Police say it's still not clear if Smith was the intended target of the shooting. Proceeds from last night's event will be donated to Smith's family. Meantime, the search for the killer continues. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. We will be back in just a moment.
Yes! Who's next on a scale that never fails?
What about me? Can you guess my weight?
Well, when it comes to your weight,
I'm going to tell you what I know. I know the healthier option often isn't an option. That you don't exercise enough because you can't. And how everyone blames you, especially yourself. I know your weight is out of control because I know it's not just what you're eating, it's what you're being fed.
Welcome back. Well, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our area. The Maryland Department of Health has identified 376 new cases. The county's positivity rate is at 5.76%. It hasn't been below 6% since the end of April. Now, 6 Marylanders have died of COVID over the past 24 hours. 314 are hospitalized with the virus. Non-citizens may soon have a path to become police officers in Maryland. That's under a measure passed by the House of Delegates today. HB 145 allows immigrants who served in the U.S. military to work as police officers if they were honorably discharged. The legislation passed 110 to 23, but not without debate.
These are veterans. They swore an oath to uphold the Constitution and laws of this country. They did it. We put a gun in their hands. They defended the country and they were honorably discharged. They would now like to do law enforcement in our local communities.
I do not think that I personally can support the idea that citizens of the United States should be policed by people that are not citizens of the United States. I hope they get their citizenship. I thank them for their service, but I don't think that that's a principle that I would support.
If an individual who is not a citizen of the United States can serve to protect this country, then certainly they can serve to protect our communities.
The measure is sponsored by Delegate David Frazier Hidalgo of Montgomery County. Montgomery County lawmakers are considering a bill to limit police traffic stops. The measure is sponsored by Democrat Will Jawando. He says that the Safety and Traffic Equity in Policing Act would prohibit traffic stops for minor offenses like window tinting or defective taillights. Jawando says it will help address racial and ethnic disparities.
The goal is to promote fairness to reduce racial disparities, promote safety, and reduce community trauma, to improve community policing in our county, and to further the county's Vision Zero goals. By shifting police out of certain types of traffic enforcement, we can make sure that they focus on the more urgent needs: reckless driving, DUI, speeding.
And the Jawando bill introduced on Tuesday is co-sponsored by Councilmember Kristen Mink. Well, a new exhibit is shining a light on 2 legendary Black female artists. The exhibit is called Ringgold Sarr, Meeting on the Matrix, which is located at the David C. Driscoll Center at the University of Maryland. The showcase focuses on the printmaking work of Faith Ringgold and Betty Sarr, who are both now in their 90s. A class of graduate students collaborated with the center on the project, and visitors can now walk through the exhibit and experience art from their decades-long careers.
This is the first time that Faith Ringgold and Betty Sarr have been in an exhibition together, and I think it's really important for people in the community to be able to come here and experience this art. They've done so much to push forward the idea of feminism, to push forward the idea of politically charged art, as well as the metaphysical aspects of the Black experience.
This particular piece is called Alice Guy with Spinning Heart, and this is kind of a series of the work from Betty Sarr, and you can tell there is a lot of kind of interesting elements that are dealing with mysticism, that are dealing with astrology, that are dealing with basically this kind of idea of a religion that she kind of created for herself.
And the exhibit is open until May 22nd. For more information, you can visit the website on your screen. Well, are you facing foreclosure or struggling to pay your rent? Come out to a free foreclosure and eviction prevention workshop tomorrow in Landover. The event is sponsored by Council Member Jolene Ivey and her husband, Congressman Glenn Ivey. It takes place at the First Baptist Church of Highland Park, March 4th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. For more information, you can reach out to Council District 5 at co.pg.md.us, and masks are required to attend the workshop. Still to come here on the news, Simon Buggs and your Friday Sports page. Stay tuned.
Hey there, sports fans, Simon Buggs here. And coming up shortly, the Commanders received some disappointing results in a recent survey. The Wizards take down the Raptors, and the Orioles fall to the Tigers. Stay tuned. The Washington Commanders are no strangers to controversy, and unfortunately, more news broke yesterday that puts the organization in a more negative light. The NFLPA released the results of a survey where players are asked to grade their team in a variety of categories. The categories have to do with the team's facilities as well as staff, and judging by the results, it seems as if the Commanders have a lot of improvements to make. The Commanders were graded an F- in 3 of the 8 categories. The categories were training room, locker room, and travel. Washington was also graded an F in the treatment of families category. Hopefully these results serve as a wake-up call for the organization. Now for some NBA news, the Wizards took down the Toronto Raptors last night, beating them 119-108. With this win, the Wizards have won 3 out of their last 5 games. Not only did the team have a good offensive game, but they also played well on the defensive end. Head coach Wes Unseld Jr. gave credit to his team for limiting paint points and defending the pick and roll.
I thought we played, spatially. Give ourselves room to play, did a better job of our setups. I thought playing downhill early opened things up for us. And when you share the ball, it's been consistent all season. We're pretty good. 30 assists, I think 43 field goal attempts. It's a pretty good percentage. I thought our disposition on the ball was pretty good. Obviously, the paint, they're a heavy paint team. They're going to play downhill as much as they can. I think scoring 52 in the paint, it's not a terrible number, considering you factor in the turnovers and the opportunities in transition. I thought we did a pretty good job one-on-one. Great job in pick and rolls. I thought the bigs were at the appropriate level. Just putting enough pressure to take them off the pull-up 3 without getting hurt with rolls behind our coverage.
To wrap up sports, the Baltimore Orioles were in action yesterday, but fell to the Detroit Tigers 10-3. The Orioles don't have the best record to start spring training, as they are just 2-4 so far. But they will try and improve their record as they face the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight at 6:05. And that is your Friday Sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. Well, checking your weather forecast for tonight, rain with patchy fog, lows in the 40s. Saturday, mostly sunny and breezy with highs around 55. Sunday, sunny with highs in the upper 50s. And Monday, start the week off with mostly sunny skies, highs around 60. And now for your community calendar, we can call all parents of first, second, and third graders. Does your child need tutoring? If so, enroll them in the Saturday Enrichment Academy, where coaches will use creative ways to meet the learning needs and styles of your child. It takes place from 9:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. starting March 4th, and it will run through June 10th. To register, go to pgparksdirect.com and search for Saturday Academy, as space is limited. And that is CTV News for now. I'm Patricia Malone. Have a great night.